grown ass man. Saying else was
That's
out in the
true.
early 80s.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
jump ahead 40
That's
years.
true.
First off, let's
Man.
remember that is 40 years from the 80s.
It doesn't seem that
40,
way. I mean, like,
yeah,
if Back to the Future was
yeah,
made today, we're going back to the late 90s.
yes, facts. Yeah,
Man.
and then, well, let me see real quick. So since you mentioned Back to the Future, and I want us to get started, obviously, but see, we've got
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox. Okay, so Michael J. Fox is 62.
Okay.
And okay, I'm just still looking. Okay, well, before I pull him up,
Christopher Lloyd.
yeah, how because I haven't got to him all the way yet. How old do you think Christopher Lloyd is? This is
I
within
think he's
5 years.
77.
85.
He's 85. Okay.
Okay, not bad.
Not yeah.
And he's had 1, 2, 3, 4. He's currently on his fifth wife.
Really?
So he got married in 59, divorced. This dude's like Henry VIII, man.
Man.
He got married in 59, got divorced. Married in 74, got divorced. 88, got divorced. 92, got divorced. And his current wife, Lisa Lloyd Cano, I'm probably saying her name horribly. They got married in 2016, and they're still married. Because at this point, I don't know if he's got the energy to do anything else. Like, hey, whatever.
I gotta get man. He's still cashing the Back to the Future's checks.
Dude.
That you know.
And I mean, he still shows up. I remember I've been watching Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
and he had a stint on there. Just to give you a little bit of context, Christopher Lloyd is only 1 year younger than Morgan Freeman. Freeman is 86.
Oh, have they ever been in a movie together? Has
I don't.
Christopher Lloyd and Morgan Freeman ever been in a
see if we
movie?
can find this. See,
Man.
Morgan Freeman, Christopher. Is he really? He is. I forgot about that. Going in Style. They're in Going in Style together.
That's a great movie too.
That is
man.
a really good movie.
All right, cool. Let's go and get started.
Okay.
So, let's start off by doing something we haven't done in a while.
Just let you.
All right, welcome to the Fandemic. This is a podcast, YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our awesomeness to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts. In the show, we dive deep into the heart of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations.
From Natalie Dormier to Natalie Portman, we are here for you, sir.
We are. Oh, yes, we are. All right. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, things under the bed, and many side quests. So whether you're a die-hard enthusiast or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, the Fandemic is the place to be. I'm the host, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and with me every week I have the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, and the unverified twin of Dave Batista in the head wrinkles. Who are you?
My name is Brian S. Dennis, where this week the S stands for mutton chops.
Yes. We will be getting into that very, very soon, I think, buddy. Oh, man.
That one, you know what? I was inspired about 10 seconds after we saw Old Boy. I'm like, oh, yeah. That is this week's. That is this
Yeah.
week's reference. Yes, sir.
Well, let's get right into it, man. Like,
All
what? So,
right.
what's your TV show and movie of the week?
All right. So first off, Bradley, Happy New Year, my
Yes.
friend. This is our first episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, we were out. We were enjoying the holidays and with schedules. We didn't keep up with our weekly recording. The tail end of
Hmm.
2023. So this is our first recording in 2024. So again, hopefully everybody had a happy, fun New Year. Now, with that being said, my favorites of the last few weeks to cover that is number one. I was talking about my shows of the week. So really two of them right now is uh Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Every week has just been fantastic. I was a huge fan of the first movie. Second one, it was okay. It lost a little momentum. We shared this before. Typically we say over at Preventing the Nerds, if you're making a trilogy, stop at two. If you're making a sequel, stop at one.
Yep.
But it wasn't bad. And then, but the Olympians, my favorite episode so far has been the Medusa episode.
100%.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love their take on Medusa. It was such a slow burn. It was like it was so slow with Medusa. Like you knew what it was. What I
Hmm.
liked about this show is they kind of do actually what that's been kind of the thing you have with any of these books that become TV shows or movies. Pardon me. You've got these kids put in these extraordinary situations. On some level, they keep the kids, I think, a little overly naive. They did that in Harry
Yeah.
Potter, the Maze Runner, the Insurgent, Mockingjay, Hunger Games, all these things. So this one, what they basically go is they's like, hey, if you really, I mean, two of the three kids are demigods, the other one's a centaur.
Mhm.
They've been prepared for this. So hey, you know what? We're at a place. It's Auntie M's, and there's a bunch of stone statues, and we're from Greek mythology. I wonder whose place this is, right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
and if she comes out, and spoiler alerts, when you got the harpy who is just like no, and then again they did the great thing. She's got the hat on, but you can kind of see, and
Hmm.
I love the fact they made the snakes. I thought it was creepier. They made the snakes small
Hmm.
instead of being those huge ones that you typically see depicted.
Yeah.
So it made it like a slower burn, like they're always there but not there, and how calm she was. And again, I don't know if you know about me, but I'm a huge Greek mythology buff.
Hmm.
So I love the fact that they actually got into how she is turned into a Gorgon and all those things. So it was just fantastic. So love me some Percy Jackson. And we didn't get a chance to talk about this due to the timing of it, but we had the second season of What If.
Yeah.
And just to give it some credit, in fact, let's talk a little bit about What If because we've talked about Percy Jackson a little bit. What are your thoughts on this season of What If, my friend?
I mean, it, it is good. I mean, like I enjoyed some episodes better than the
Okay,
others.
thank you. Okay,
It wasn't as good as season one.
right.
Um, and I wish that we had a different characters in it because they kind of recycled zombies.
They
Like,
recycled a lot. They recycled a
yeah,
whole lot.
my favorite episode was the Iron Man episode or the Avengers in 1602.
1602 is because I always love
Yeah.
those comics, and that was they really kind of played with that.
Right.
Yeah, the one that they did, which was totally, which again you and I were talking about this earlier, where you had the Freak or Happy Hogan's
Yeah, that's
Hulk
cool. Yeah.
version. I love the fact that when they did that, which they had all the Die Hard references,
Hmm.
which were just so great. But again, if you've not seen What If, not to spoil, I agree. I did not enjoy season two as well as season one, primarily because they didn't give us an equivalent big bad. Like one
Yeah.
of the things that I love that they did with What If was kind of what they did with the Marvel MCU when it first started. You had all these kind of disparate episodes of What If, and then the last two, they showed no, these are gonna be combined with their they don't call them the
Hmm.
Avengers, but their version. But I think they call them the Guardians of the Multiverse or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's basically their version of the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
And so you felt like, well, is this season gonna do something similar? And but yeah, they recycled Captain Carter, which I love the Captain
Mhm.
Carter character, but they
Yeah.
recycled her a couple times. And then the thing was strange. First off, I go, she's an
Yeah.
idiot. She doesn't see where this is happening, right?
Right.
You know, there's sometimes that things are predictable and it's good because that's how the story should go. Then there's
Exactly.
sometimes things are predictable that you go, you're making the hero look like an idiot, that
Mhm.
they can't pick up on this, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give it probably 3 beardies. I mean, but
Same.
compared to, and I think that's the other thing, compared to season 1,
Mhm.
I've watched season 1 multiple times. I'll probably go back and watch the Die Hard episode, the 1602 episode, but the rest of it can, it also, they were more lighthearted. I think that's what it was. They were really, for the
Agree.
most part, lighthearted this
Yeah.
season versus last season. They were, a lot of them were, they were really serious. I mean, they had
Mm.
that, the take on Thor is always kind of comedic now, which
Yeah.
I'm hot and cold on that. But like the zombie episode, a lot of those, the Killmonger episode, a lot of those were really good, and this was kind of like, eh, everything
Yeah.
doesn't need to be funny. It
It
doesn't
it
need to be
seemed
funny.
it seemed like they didn't even do actual what ifs, right?
Right.
I mean, like even the ending, like what if Stephen Strange, like interfered? Like,
Mm,
I don't know. I was just like, man, this was not finale material. Uh,
because they,
man, like I want give me some other things around
right.
Marvel. Like, what if I don't know what if the Fantastic Four was around when Thanos,
Yeah.
like give me that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily care like what if Reed Richards,
Hmm.
or Kang. We should have got Kang stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, well, I mean, yeah, but
they, depending on
they
if
could end.
if they had Kang stuff, but they couldn't
I
use
mean,
a voice actor
it
anymore.
was live
You
action.
know,
What if?
potentially, if they did, because they do try to give them credit, they do try and bring in as many of the actual actors to voice the characters in the alternative version, the what if versions. And
Yeah.
let's say maybe they did some Kang stuff and Jonathan Majors. Yeah. By the way, if you've not, have you heard Cat Williams' take on Jonathan
I
Majors?
have not.
Okay, so this is totally aside. So
Right.
Brad, I'm assuming you know Cat Williams.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, he's hilarious.
Okay, so Shannon Sharp, who is a Hall of Fame football player,
Mhm.
basically on YouTube. You can always find his full episodes on YouTube. I'm sure it's on other streaming
Yeah.
services as well. But he has this talk show called Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
And Shay Shay's for Shannon Sharp. And he starts off by getting people drinking some cognac, so they're usually a little freer. And Cat Williams, now the debate is how, in the state that Cat Williams shows up in.
Mhm.
Okay, Cat Williams says the only thing that he had for his appearance on the show was the cognac that you see him drinking as the show begins. So he goes, that was his first drink or whatever. He proceeds to go hard on so many black celebrities. Is not even like, he destroys. But when he talks about Jonathan Majors, it's like, wow. And he basically starts off by going, why did Marvel spend so much money trying to convince you that Jonathan Majors was a good looking man? Like, I was like, yo. And that's the most tame of the things
Oh
that
man.
he says. But it's also somewhat, a lot of it's very telling social
Yeah.
commentary. So if you just Google Cat Williams or go to YouTube and Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp or Cat Williams and Shay Shay, it's 2 hours because it's 2 hours of him just like,
Yeah.
and the best part is Shannon Sharp, who this big imposing physical guy realizes like, because none of this is planned. This is
Mhm.
like, hey Cat, how's it going? And he literally, for the better part of 2 hours, just rips into everybody he can think of. And
Man.
at that point, you can see Shannon Sharp just going, like, what do
like,
I do?
just
Like,
I guess just
like,
go, man. I mean,
yeah,
this is
because
live. I mean,
the
like,
opening is like what you see on almost every talk show. Hey, what did you like to talk about? Or tell us what's going on. And
yeah,
then boom, and he doesn't almost let the poor guy get in a word edgewise. It's just fantastic. All right. So
man.
anyway, yeah, so What If has some challenges, but Percy Jackson and Olympians has been fantastic. A couple other things that I really enjoy. I'm gonna do real quick. Can I give you a quick weekend wrestling recap for you, sir?
Good.
All right, so I think we talked about this. We both saw Monday Night Raw, which was fantastic. We both are really loving wrestling as a whole right now. At least the WWE. Poor AEW is in some serious trouble, but the WWE. So Raw was Both Raw and SmackDown had their first episodes of
Mhm.
2024. Raw called its show on Monday, day one. Had a couple things. You had a couple title matches, no title changes. Things setting up for the Royal Rumble, which will be here in about 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks from yesterday.
Mm.
But the big one was there was going to be a WWE champion was going to be returning to the show, and out comes one Jinder Mahal. If you're not fans of wrestling, I understand you don't get this reference, but he's a guy who is not a very popular former world champion.
Yeah.
He goes out there and they're in San Diego, which is a military city. Thank everyone for their service, and he risks because Jinder Mahal, while he is of East Indian descent, he's Canadian by nationality.
Is he
And he basically,
really?
yeah, he's from Canada.
Okay.
But he basically rips into Americans, at least that's some fairly accurate things, is getting booed out of the building. And of course, at that point, while it was not me, it was someone that has a reasonable facsimile of myself, and it was The Rock, and we were smelling what he was cooking, and he came out, he
Yeah.
did a quick promo, he beat down Jinder as anyone would predict. But then the last piece was he made a very thinly veiled reference to one Roman Reigns. And again, if you are a wrestling fan, you get the idea of you have these two men of Samoan descent, at this point probably the two best known Samoan wrestlers, probably the two most successful Samoan wrestlers, at least in the modern era, and
Mhm.
opportunity that they may have something coming up here soon, especially with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the biggest name in Hollywood right now. That's very cool. That though then turns into Friday, which was their New Year's New Year's Revolution, what they call the SmackDown show. The big thing out of that was we are now going to have a fatal four-way for the Universal Championship, which will be The Rock's cousin, legitimate,
Mhm.
his cousin Roman Reigns versus Randy, which is a bunch of initials. So you've got L.A. Knight, yeah, AJ Styles, and the master of the RKO, one Randy Orton. So Bradley, this brings number one a lot of excitement for the
Mhm.
Rumble here in a few weeks, and WrestleMania here in a few months. And where does this leave with Roman Reigns? We've got Roman Reigns, which I think all signs we're going to get a Cody Rhodes rematch, so Cody can finish his story. But now we've got The Rock. So what do you think is going to happen with this whole Rock, Roman, possibly Cody? What do you think happens between now, let's say WrestleMania? So between now and April.
I don't know. Because Cody's on Raw,
Yep.
Reigns is on SmackDown.
SmackDown. Yes.
And so does it make sense for him to go after Reigns now, especially with The Rock back in there? Well, they're not going to give The Rock the belt. So I
If they
guess it's
did, it
like,
would be replaying because I don't know if you remember a few
yeah.
years ago, that's what they did with CM Punk. And people hated that. Because they
Yeah.
knew he was going to lose it the first time he defended it, right? Which he
Yeah.
did to John Cena. So yeah, I doubt they do that again. Right.
So I mean, like, I can actually see I can and it's not going to happen,
Okay.
but I mean, I think that I think it'd be cool if there was a title change at Rumble, but then they build up The Rock Reigns
Hmm.
for WrestleMania,
Sure.
and Cody finishes his story on somebody else,
Yeah. And if they do
even
that,
Randy Orton. I think would be
if they do that, it would have to be Randy Orton just because of the history
yeah,
there and the legacy and all
yeah,
that. That is though definitely a step down from Roman.
yeah,
My hope will get maybe something like I did see there's some rumors that the Elimination Chamber, which is the pay-per-view between Rumble and WrestleMania, which is taking place in Australia, the first pay-per-view they've ever had in Australia, that possibly in the WWE is making that deal for a lot
hmm
of money, was saying they wanted somehow The Rock's involvement. But number one, like you said, they should not, and I truly doubt they're going to put the belt on The Rock. The match does not need a title.
yeah,
If anything, hopefully, and my 2 cents would be, um, you're right. So they're on two separate shows. So do you then get maybe Cody wins the Rumble so he can challenge whoever he wants? So that gives him a reason to
Mm-hmm.
challenge The Rock. So Cody wins back to back. That's a great way of building up Cody. You could then have CM Punk win the Elimination Chamber and challenge Seth Rollins on Raw. And possibly have The Rock. Remember, he just said sit ahead of the table. That doesn't necessarily mean a match at least immediately.
Yeah.
So maybe he's last year. Remember, Cody didn't win because of the bloodlines interference. So maybe The Rock goes, "I'm gonna come out with Cody. I'm gonna be the referee, the enforcer, and what protects Roman and also builds the matches." Maybe The Rock gets involved. That's how Cody pins Roman. Cody's the champion. He's gonna go do something else that then gets Roman versus Rock, and then. Personally, I know Roman's already pretty much a part-time anyway, but if you had a Roman versus Rock match, Rock wins that. That gives Roman Reigns an excuse to legitimately, let's say, go away for a little bit
Yeah.
and possibly come back as a babyface. Like maybe Paul Heyman starts talking crap while Roman's gone, really building up Solo and Jimmy, and
Or
Rock
goes back
comes
to CM Punk.
or goes, yeah, you can see a CM Punk heel turn. There could be another Heyman guy. There are some other Samoans out there that are really good. Jacob Fatu,
Mm-hmm.
who is in Major League Wrestling, I believe. So there's a lot of things. What I really hope in WWE, if you're listening, do not. I really want Cody versus Rock because Cody versus Roman because you spent the last 2 years with Cody coming from AEW to build to this match. I understand you can't get Rock probably as much as you want him. So if something comes in and preempts it, it probably will still be fine. But seriously, do not put the belt on The Rock. Number one, he doesn't
Yeah.
want it. He doesn't need it. And it doesn't do anything anyway. People already criticize for Roman being a part-time wrestler. Rock will be around a third of what Roman is. So it doesn't match. So anyway, but I'm excited for WrestleMania. I'm excited for Elimination Chamber. I'm excited, especially for the Rumble. All right, my
Nice.
friend. Last thing, because I bet this is where we're going to agree on my favorites of the week. Well, I only saw one movie in the theater this week. And it was because, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you Brian Dennis's life. This sometimes happens. You get a text message from your tag team partner going, "Hey, you want to go see a movie?" Yeah. And you think, "You'll see," and I'll be, pardon me, but I will say this. I am not the biggest Jason Statham fan in the world.
Yeah.
I will say then the first Transporter I really liked. I liked his presence in the Expendables, and at this point now, everybody I think has been in in the Fast movies, as well as the Expendables, if you think about it. But I gotta say, for a movie he truthfully carried, The Beekeeper, my friend.
Dude.
Go. I'll let you just take it from here.
Oh man, like okay, so I had not seen a trailer, and this is my movie of the week too. I had not seen a trailer for Beekeeper besides like a 10-second little promo thing that's
Right.
on repeat at work, and so I had no idea what it was about when it started. Well, like they're
Dude.
man, like it.
Dude.
I go over to Brian and I'm like,
dude,
this is like I was satisfied in the first 5 minutes when I didn't even know all the people that were in the movie. Like, this is a good cast.
Dude,
I mean, like,
they did such a great job of. Again, I seen one trailer,
yeah,
and I really didn't remember that much. I thought I'll probably watch it when it comes out, whatever.
Yeah.
Number one, but thank you by the way for getting me into the early showing.
Sure. Yeah.
But then the other part was, like you said, we were both like, "Wait, who's in this? Wait, who? Wait, what? Okay,
Man.
All right, Beekeeper, we see you."
Yeah.
And then it was nonstop, and I think you and I both said this. It was everything that John Wick 4 should have been.
Yeah.
It was and think about it, it was a movie that was under 2 hours. It was clocked in at an hour and 45 minutes. It was nonstop action. It had enough pause in the action to advance the story, and it let you suspend disbelief. Like how there's one person, because he's just that badass.
Yeah.
And he's believable. And they gave you lots of villains. Back to professional wrestling for a second.
Yep.
They gave us heels. They gave us villains we wanted to see get theirs. So if this and without spoiling too much of the story, as the story built, it let us still go. Like, I don't really care who the ultimate big bad is. I want the big bad. And again, the acting was done so well. Jeremy Irons. I mean, there are just so many.
Felicia
Felicia
Rashid.
Rashad. Yeah, I mean, there are so many just fantastic people in the film
Yeah.
that just also just kept up with so much of the story and made us really like it. And I mean, Josh Hutcherson, who plays God, I can't think of his character right now, but you know him from like
PETA.
yes, Peter. That's where I wasn't remembering from, but also Journey to the Center of the Earth, who he also was in with your boy The Rock. But just I mean, the various bad guys did such a great job being bad guys that you want to see them get theirs, which made you root that much
Yeah.
harder for the beekeeper.
Well,
So.
and the motivation for the revenge was
beautiful.
Right. There's no other word for it. Like,
Yes.
I mean, because you wanted to see them all die.
Yes.
Very, very violent deaths.
Violent, slow, painful.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
now there's not like you're not gonna have extra brain cells. There's not a lot of thinking involved in the beekeeper.
But it's a ride you strap in on and just enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we between the two of us, and we polished off a full popcorn, man. I mean, like a
yes.
big old popcorn.
Yes.
I mean, like
so you did the butter straight. You did the butter straight. I appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah.
So, man, like, yeah, Beekeeper, go see it.
Go see it.
If you're in a bad mood, give it 20 minutes. You'll be happy. You're gonna go down a little bit first.
Yep.
Because something happens,
but
and you're just like,
is worth it. The uptick is worth it.
Oh boy, no,
and
you did not just do that.
Yeah, and my last thought on it is they did such a great job. When you think about, I mean, it actually has a fairly deep point of why he's doing what he's doing. But even before we get there, like you said, when they create the dynamic of who the bad people, who the villains, who the antagonists are, they gave us antagonists that we could all, in today's world, relate to.
Yeah.
And we all knew where it was going. Like the minute that we see the pop-up and her make the phone call that she makes, we were like, oh no. Oh no. And so and the person that had played that role, especially if you're in our age bracket, you go, no.
Yep.
No. And then what happens again without getting too much into spoilers. At that moment, we all had at that point we all were beekeepers. Like we got you, Jason.
Even the dude that was sitting two seats down was like into it as well.
Yes,
I almost invited him to sit next to us.
The poor guy had the cat going. It was great.
He was getting a little his drink on. He kept on going back for refills.
Facts. So
man,
anyway, big.
What do you rate it?
Okay, and then our beauty score, especially again in the wake of John Wick 4 and some other movies that kind of fell over time. I'm going to give it a solid 4.5. It is definitely rewatchable. It is definitely rewatchable.
And again, I 100% agree with you. It was definitely. We'll be talking about this.
Yes, sir.
A lot.
We may revisit the beekeeper. We're talking our best of for 2024. This may be the 2024, at least from a movie standpoint, started off pretty strong.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, with that, Brian, what are we talking about today, man?
You like that segue? We're going to talk about a couple things. First, our fave movies of 2023. And then what are we most excited for from the movie front for 2024? So, my friend, we can do our recap of 2023 movies. If you want to lead us off, sir. And folks, as always, just a reminder, when Brad and I do any of our list shows, while we know what we're going to list, we don't talk about our list just so we find out right here on the air with you. And I usually keep track of if we have any matches, especially any matches in the same position, sir. So you want to lead off with your best of your faves from 2023?
And we're pretty right on. So I'm actually going to make a prediction here. I think that we're going to have 5 matching.
Is that your over under is 5?
I'm gonna guess 5, and I'm gonna say we might even have 2 in the same position.
All right.
That one was tougher but I think we're gonna have a couple. All
right, let's do it, man. Now I'm excited.
So I got a couple. I got 10 honorable mentions. I'm not gonna spend much time on, but I wanted to just call them out here. The Creator. Freaking great movie. TMNT Mutant Mayhem. It was way better than it had any right to be, and I'm happy that Seth Rogen got involved. He was great for the project. Barbie as well. So again, you everywhere. Barbie was everywhere. I mean, it ran my life for weeks at the theater. One of the funniest movies that I've seen in a long, long time, The Machine.
I
The
forgot
Machine.
about the machine. It
Oh my
was hilarious,
dude, yeah.
bro. Her machine was fantastic. The machine was fantastic.
The Little Mermaid, man. Anytime there's a movie that comes out that I take my kids to,
Yep.
and I can just see them just glow. I may not have loved the movie a lot, but it's going to mean a lot more to me. And The Little
Right.
Mermaid did that. So
And we
it's
shared a
kind of
couple
an honorable
movies that we understand, and I think it's perfectly fair. We may not be the target audience,
Mhm.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
And then how can you go wrong when you have Nicolas Cage as Dracula, Renfield, Leia? Come say hi to Brian, and let's find out what your fact of the day is.
Oh, it's not 1, 6.
Oh, 6 facts. Oh boy.
That's
Okay.
6. Oh, wow.
All right.
Let's
So
get it.
here's the sidetrack here. Oh, you wrote them down.
She's prepared.
That's how many there are.
Okay. Oh, so also something happened to Leia today. She got her
Don't
hair.
tell him yet.
Oh, okay. I won't tell him.
Yeah, Dad,
I
don't
have to
spoil it.
say I don't know where to put these.
Put them. I don't know. What are you putting?
I'm putting these somewhere.
All right. Well, put them on that or give them to me.
Oh,
I don't know. All right. Talk in there.
First of all, can you tell if anything's different?
Your hair looks different. Is the color different? It looks like a different color.
Did you say anything?
Yes.
I said your hair looks different, and I'm trying on the screen. Is it a little different color?
We dyed it black. Or technically,
you.
Kendall
Oh.
dyed it black.
Okay. Yeah, on the screen it looks darker, so you dyed it black. Okay. It looks really nice. I like it.
Yesterday, drunk Kendall said if we could dye my hair.
Okay, Leia, I have a little bit of advice for you, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So maybe on the podcast you don't say drunk and your sister together. Maybe that one, okay? Maybe you could have just said Kendall dyed your hair. How about that one?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, and then I have my little Cheetos.
Cheetos. Okay, but you don't need to eat. No, do your facts. I mean,
know,
we're not gonna
okay.
eat them on there.
know.
No.
So I had to write them down because there's a lot. So, number 1 is when you get your tongue pierced. Usually after a while, stuff will start to taste different, and you're. I thought you said no eating during the podcast.
I did. Go ahead.
Continue.
I'll be good.
You know, I'm going to exaggerate it. From the bacteria on your tongue, when you get it pierced, more bacteria happens and it can cause infections. Why are
Okay.
you looking at me like that? Do you want me to feed you another one?
No.
Okay. And then number
2. Number 2.
Number 2 is when you peel off a. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna read one that I know. With scabs, hold on. I just read these, so they're kind of hard to remember. With scabs, you shouldn't pick at them. Do you know why?
Because it's gross.
No. Because if you pick at them, the
Uh-huh.
skin peels off. And when the scab is supposed to be like a protection to the little
Yeah.
injury that happened.
Yep.
And when you pick it off, it could lead to infection
Yep.
or injuring the thing, or it could even lead to a scar.
Okay.
The more
That's
you know.
true.
That one.
We've talked about piercing
Hmm.
tongues and
You have
scabs.
any more?
All right.
I do, but I'm going to save those for another time.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll tell Brian bye bye.
Hi, bye.
How about princess?
Can I have this back?
No.
Come on.
No.
Thank you. All right.
So you didn't hear my advice to Leia. So here was the advice I told her. Like, hey, in the future, necessarily on a live and recorded podcast, maybe you just say Kendall dyed my hair. Maybe to start there, instead of drunk Kendall. And number 2, mixing tongue piercings and scabs, not where you want to lead.
Let me
Not-
go. Bye.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
There's certain things that shouldn't go together, like free and parachute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like why is it free? Why is it
Yeah.
free? You know, or used in pregnancy tests.
Mhm.
And
Or condoms.
yeah. Recycled and okay, here's a quick story. I got a super quick story. So
Yeah.
this is a true story on top of it. So one of my cousins legitimately worked at a condom factory, and she
Was
had
the work hard?
it got limp in bits, but
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
but we are 12. Okay, so but apparently this is what she told me. She had a coworker whose wife was consistently getting pregnant, but he also was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm sure I'm gonna like support all these kids." And the irony, as you can imagine, is if you work in a condom company, that one of the benefits was they actually did give them product. You're having pregnancies that all the thing like. And so finally one day my cousin goes, and I will share, she shared this person's English was not his first language, which okay, fine.
Yeah.
To which though, when she goes, "Hey, we have like um are you taking advantage of some of the fringe benefits of working here?" He goes, "Yes, I take them home with me all the time. I go get," and he pointed to where he was getting them from.
Oh no.
So apparently part of the quality assurance process when they would do a condom was they would blow a puff of air to make sure that they were not permeable.
Yeah.
And the ones that the puff of air would, the sensor, they would go in a vent to be later discarded.
Mhm.
That's where he was taking. So everyone he used was everyone he took home and thereby used was defective.
Man, the system was ribbed.
Yes. So they quickly explain to him, this is the, she goes, "That's the no bin." And explain that to him. It's almost like if you go under the bed. Okay. All right. But I wish I was making this up, but she swore that was a true story. And I learned that when I was like 13, 14 years old. And many, many years later, it is still right here. So
That is awesome.
So yeah, so my cousin, her name's Pam. Cousin Pam, love you, and thank you for that wonderful story. All right.
Awesome. All right. So another honorable mention for the year, 65 million.
Oh yeah.
Adam Driver was in it. Super fun, good movie, man. I really enjoyed it.
All right.
And then Creed 3 came out this year. Great movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 made my honorable mentions.
Okay.
And then my final honorable mention is Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom is a movie you can't watch without being upset.
Yes.
So
yes,
now
I had a friend of mine was talking about that yesterday or Friday, and it's a heavy movie. Yes,
heavy.
So basically, here are the 3 movies you should watch together if you just won the lottery and are feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Watch Precious, followed by Schindler's List, followed by Sound of Freedom.
And
you'll be good. You'll just
be like, okay. Great.
Yeah, especially you'll just give your money away. Like, here, just
I think so.
Yes, just take it, please. Yes.
All right. Now, so start off my top 10. At number 10, I have a movie that I did not think was going to be good, but was great.
Okay.
It had David Harbour and Orlando Bloom.
All right.
Gran Turismo.
Yes.
The movie is such a good movie. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
And so watch it. It's everything you want from a movie. It gives you all the feels. It's got the action. It's got a little bit of everything. Number 9 is kind of it's a faith-based movie, but you don't really realize it until about 3/4 the way through it.
Okay.
And it's scary, but the acting in it is so amazing. And it stars Sean Patrick Flannery, Nefarious.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nefarious is, man, he will never get an Oscar for it, but he gives one of the best performances that has ever been filmed in that movie.
Like that. like that.
ever
Okay.
been filmed. Like you need to watch the movie, and
Fair. Got it.
it is a faith based company that produced it,
Sure.
but it doesn't feel like that. So,
Okay.
and number 8 is a more current movie still in the theaters right now, and it's Wonka. Wonka is super fun.
Right.
Like there is a little bit of ocular perspiration. It doesn't try to sell you on anything. It doesn't even try to sell you on the candy. You're getting the experience, and you just feel good. You get that good old fashioned feeling when you watch that movie. Number 7 is Super Mario Brothers.
I knew you were gonna put. I know how much you love that movie. I was waiting to see where it would land in your top
Yes.
10. Okay.
Super Mario Brothers. Man, Chris Pratt does a great job as Mario. Luigi, it had everything that you wanted in it. Anna Taylor Joy was in it, as well as Peach. Man, like it was just a super fun movie. Jack Black as Bowser. I mean, come on, guys. Like it's perfect. It's such a good animated movie, but it is not my the top animated movie on my list.
I bet I know what it is. I'll let you
Yeah.
continue.
Number 6 is probably the biggest blast of a movie you're going to go to. That would be Oppenheimer. This movie was so good in so many ways. It felt like a documentary. You didn't even realize Robert Downey Jr. was in the movie till like 3/4 of the way through, and you're like, "Shit, that's Iron Man." Like,
My only question with that was, does he also introduce the arc reactor during? Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Should
I'm
be.
an
You should
idiot,
be.
folks. I'm an idiot.
All right,
Okay.
number 5. Here's my top 5.
All right.
Coming in at number 5 is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Okay.
I loved this movie, man. This movie, like I remember we watched it together.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that movie, and I'm like, this is gonna be in my list. Like it was my favorite movie for a couple of months. I mean, the movie is, if you haven't seen it, it's streaming on Amazon. You should watch it. It's great. Number 4. This one is my top animated movie, and this one was at a fight with my number 3, but ultimately I put it at number 4. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Dude, another movie that we saw together as well.
We have packed, unpacked, repacked, side packed. It's yes, it is. Yes.
Oh my God, such a good movie. I can't wait for the sequel. Number 3 is Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Okay.
This movie is amazing. It's like watching. It's like they made a trilogy of movies, but they in one movie. It's what like Star Wars should have done.
Sure.
It's what The Hobbit should have done. It was done right. It was such a beautiful movie. You actually care for the bad guy, and then you want the bad guy to die, because that's where he's got to go. So well done. Number 2. This one is a new movie. It's only been out for a couple of weeks, and this Zac Efron should definitely get a Oscar. Yes, Iron Claw. Man, I was trying to figure out where to put this thing, but dude, I can't say enough good things about this movie. It had to be in one of my top spots. Man, like, I liked everything about it, man. I
mean, what can you say
it
about
was-
a movie about the Von Erichs? It's like getting, I don't know, like a shot to the head.
Yeah, right. Okay. Woo.
Anybody that knows the history of that family will know what a bad
Yeah.
person I am.
And apparently the makers of that movie, A24,
Yeah.
they've approached Chavo Guerrera to do another movie about the Guerreros.
That would be fantastic. And again, we are both big professional wrestling. I've not had a chance to see Iron Claw. If you don't know, it's about the Von Erichs. Truthfully, one of the, especially in Texas, I mean, they are royalty.
Yeah.
It's a very tragic family. Right, there's only Kevin and his sons, which are in AEW, I believe now. But again, fantastic. And MJF, who actually is a wrestler, plays one of the Von Erichs. But Zac Efron, who, if you look at Zac, Zac Efron's always been a guy that's in shape. I mean, always. But he got jacked. Like he did the work.
jacked.
He did the work. Yes. All right, sir.
All right. I have said this since this movie came out, what my number one was going to be. And guess what? It is my number one. This movie had I watched this in the theaters 4 times. I have watched this countless times on the TV. It's my feel good movie. It will probably want to be one of my forever feel good movies. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but I absolutely adore this movie. To me, it checked all the boxes, and these lists are subjective. So you know what?
Right.
Comment. Let me know what you think. I actually got a couple of people top movies as well. There is my top 10, and I got 10 honorable mentions.
All right, my friend. So when counting honorable mentions and top 10, so
Okay,
what you said over under was 6, correct?
I said 5 that I think we're gonna
Oh,
have
5.
the
Okay.
same,
1, 2,
and 2 I
3,
think that we're gonna have in the same position.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8, nice.
8, but I got bad news for you, sir.
None.
None were in the same position.
Okay,
All right, so I'm gonna go.
I
quickly.
think I know what your number one's gonna be though.
I will see.
Okay.
So number 1 is I'm going to give you my honorable. So, but part of I did my honorable mentions a little different. Most of which my honorable mentions were movies that I really like. But I did want to mention 3 movies that are my honorable mentions for being most disappointing because I either had high hopes for them or just when I watched the finished product, I was like, ugh. So those 3 are probably not going to shock. We've already mentioned one, John Wick 4. Actually, it wasn't a bad movie, wasn't an unenjoyable movie, but number one, it's the lens of having seen Beekeeper or even just coming out of it. It was too damn long. It was close to 3 hours, if not more than 3 hours. And I didn't need to see Keanu Reeves go up those stairs twice. There was no plot. It could have been easily a 2-hour, if less than that movie. And it didn't resolve anything. It didn't resolve a darn thing. Okay. The one thing that it did, though, is when we come up with our upcoming of 2024, it introduced an actor who's in a couple movies I'm looking forward to seeing. The other one was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That movie very well did get erased from Marvel history just due to the Jonathan Majors controversy, but also it just wasn't done well. The Ant-Man and Ant-Man and Wasp are really the fun Marvel movies. They really are the popcorn movies. You go to see Paul Rudd and laugh. This I don't think made me laugh once. I don't think it made me laugh one time. And then the other one, we knew it was going to be bad. It was, other than the last 15 minutes, I thought it was better than what we thought it was going to be. And in the last 15 minutes, proved to me that we were really right. It was going to be bad. I threatened anyone if they liked this movie, I was going to send Ezra Miller to their house with a case of Natty Ice, which is The Flash.
Yeah.
Which is The Flash. By the way, you've already told me your feelings on Aquaman. James Gunn, it's done. Go forth and
you got it.
Fix it.
You have a clean slate.
Just, you know what? Use Peacemaker as your Nick Fury. Just have a reason, have John Cena as Peacemaker in all the movies.
Yeah.
Just do that. They all have to be rated R if you give them any dialogue.
Yeah.
But it'll still be okay. All right. So knocking those out, I'm just going to hit my honorable mentions because that's where we had the most overlap. So my honorable mentions were D&D, Honor Among Thieves, Gran Turismo, which I actually wound up watching on Netflix. Really good. I thought it would be good, but it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Also understand that it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
TMT Mutant Mayhem. Come on now. Who doesn't love that?
Right.
Finally got around to watching Barbie. It was actually, I wanted to not like Barbie because I just said it wasn't for me. I really like Barbie.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, who doesn't dig? I mean, Nicolas Cage is meant to play Dracula. Especially because at this point, I feel he actually may be a vampire.
Could be. Yeah. Paul Rudd, they're in a coven.
Yeah, or he's really Elvis. I mean, there is possibility of that. All right,
I agree with this.
So that is my honor. Now here's my top 10. My top 5. So coming in at number 5 again, a movie that I didn't like as much as I wanted to like it, but the Easter egg, the hidden scene at the end of the movie brought it back for me to put in my number 5 slot, The Marvels. Also, just what that movie means, I'm sure. And again, not my story, but I could just see for young women seeing, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and with Monica in there, Captain Lambeau. This is gonna be fantastic. This one, which you didn't mention Marvels, you also didn't mention my number 4, and this is what I've watched number one in the theater, but watched over and over again on Paramount Plus. Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
It was
It
close.
it
Both of them
was
were really close.
really
I went back and forth.
it was really good. It was probably is I'm not gonna say probably it is without a doubt my favorite Transformer movie. Probably because it didn't have Shia LaBeouf nor Marky Mark in it. That helped. That helped so much. And yes, I said Marky Mark, not Mark Wahlberg. Come at me, dog, and we'll have some.
Good vibrations.
Again, you win the episode. All right. So here are my top 3. You've mentioned all 3 of them. Number 3. It's funny. It is Creed 3. Again, I believe the Creed franchise is probably done, and if it's not, they probably have some retooling because, again, Jonathan Majors. But really, really liked it. A lot of my professional work is working with people who have disabilities, and so much of this features both Creed's wife and daughter who are deaf and hard of hearing, and really talked about a lot of those features in the movie, which I thought gave the movie so much texture, which I really loved. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's hard to even, we've talked about this before with Thor, that you have Thor and then Thor, the Dark Universe kind of over here, and then Ragnarok and Love and Thunder over there, because starting with Ragnarok, they play up sometimes, maybe a little too much, the comedic angles of that. Well, you can almost say the reverse with the Guardians. So volumes 1 and 2, they're lighthearted but fun and excellent movies. They completely gave a totally different tone for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And again, this is probably the end of that franchise. But what a way to go out. And come on, we were both there for that Beastie Boys montage. Come on now, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. And again, James Gunn, if you don't do anything in DC other than this, really work on those soundtracks, my friend. We know you got it. Peacemaker is a great example of that. All right. And then my number 1, because all these have been mentioned, you probably knew my number one's going to be, especially given my list, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Again, loved it. Every little piece of it, the beginning. And you and I both were there at the end of it. The movie's been out long enough now, both in the theaters and on Amazon, where if you want to see, you should have seen it, where that ending, where the cliffhanger is leading to the third one, we both were like, wait, what? There should be more movie. And because it did what all great cliffhangers should be, is that you don't see the cliffhanger coming. They have you so engrossed in the movie, you don't realize it's been 2 hours.
Yes.
And then
so fast.
boom. And then boom. And I love the Miles Morales character. I love Spider-Man 2099. I love what they're doing with Prowler, all the things that they're doing. So, hey, I can't wait to see what happens next. All right.
Dude, so, you have to play Spider-Man 2.
It's coming. I told you before, I got to get through. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, but Spider-Man 2 is on there. In fact, I got the phone. I'm going to put it in my car as soon as we're done so I don't forget. All right.
Gotcha.
Okay, sir. So, tell me about in fact, if you don't mind, can I lead up with my phase of upcoming of 2024? How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. I know we're going a little long on time, folks. That's We're going to go through these quickly. So I came up with my top 10, and then I've got my honorable mention. I'm gonna give my honorable mentions super quick, which is and I even put the dates of when these are coming out. Just keep them in mind. So number 1 is Mean Girls. I love the original. Love the original.
Next week.
Yes, because you can't give me a young Lindsay Lohan and Tina Fey and me not and Lacey Chabert and Amanda. I mean, just
it had everybody.
Yes, I've never want to be Tim Meadows so bad in my life. But hey, Tim, come on, bro. All right, and not to mention, it's also a really good movie. It
is a very good movie.
Yes, and I still wear pink on Wednesdays. Okay, this one is in my honorable mention, but another turn into a musical. We shall see. So number 2, we had talked about this last night. It comes out on Valentine's Day. On top of that, is Madam Web. I so like Madam Web as a comic book character, and Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
If they don't have her somehow tied up in the webs, it'll be weird. Okay, but you
Yeah.
know, 50 Shades. Never mind. Okay,
Shades of
so
Spider-Verse.
yes, so we shall see. The trailer just I just want to see the movie because it's a Sony verse. I'm not a huge fan of most of the Sony verse Spider-Verse
Yeah.
movies like Morbius, Venom 2. I really didn't dig,
Yeah,
but
we got
we'll
Craven
see.
yet. That's
Well, Craven didn't even make the list. Oh, I can't even put Craven on here. Godzilla Khan, the New Empire, coming out, and then at the end of the year, Mufasa, the Lion King. Just cause who doesn't love Mufasa? But it is not being voiced by James Earl Jones, which is sad.
yeah.
Which is sad. Okay. I also put Beekeeper on my honorable mentions because technically,
It's
the
2024.
full and the full release date still on their site is the 12th. But in Beekeeper, we just really loved. All right. So here's my actual top 10. So first off, coming out on May 24th, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Want to see how we go from Caesar to Proxima Caesar and all the things there.
Here, hang on one second.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on.
Yep.
Go ahead. You can talk. I'll be right back.
Okay. Up next is another prequel, Transformers 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Bradley and I are huge fans of Transformers. You heard me talk about, especially the 80s show. Heard me talk about Transformers Rise of the Beast. Transformers 1 is the prequel and going to show us kind of how Cybertron happens. So the nerd geek in me that wants to relive my childhood is looking forward to that one. Then we got Inside Out 2 coming out in June. Love the first one, can't wait for the second. And then we've got Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. So basically, going to take the writers and bring them back. Nosferatu. I love vampire movies. I love serious, dark, gothic, vampires are scary vampire movies. This also stars Stellan Skarsgård. So this looks like it's going to be really impressive. Looking forward to it. And my partner is back. Are we good, my friend?
Oh man, I was dancing for like 5 minutes. So
I saw that. It's all good. I don't know if you can hear the ones I picked up. Just real quick, I said I told you about Kingdom Plans of the Transformers 1. That prequel sounds really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Inside Out 2, because who doesn't love Inside Out? The Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rohirrim coming out in December, and then just cause I so loved it so much in the third Lord of the Rings movie. So looking forward to seeing what Return of the King. So now I want to see. And then as I was just saying, you know how much I dislike Twilight, and a movie that's going to be the opposite of Twilight is Nosferatu. So starring Stellan Skarsgård, and it comes out on Christmas Day. You're going to give me a dark, gothic, gritty vampire movie on Christmas?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right. So then I think I'm at my top 5. We also saw the post for it last night. Bob Marley, One Love. That just looks amazing. Marley is such a transcendent figure. So seeing him.
Yeah, we need a little bit of that, especially in today's culture.
Yeah, for real. And you know the soundtrack's going to be on point. Dude, Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire. It was almost number 1. Then the more I looked at a few others coming out, it fell, but it was number 1 in my original list. And then my top 3, Joker, Folie à Deux, or Joker 2.
Yep.
Beetlejuice 2. And then number 1, Bradley. It's a sequel.
It is a trilogy. It is Deadpool 3.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you have a tag team partner.
Yep.
We have not mentioned this, but he knew where I was going. It's got to be Deadpool 3.
Yes.
Honestly, I've been thinking for this movie in my review to come up with less than 4 beardies, this is really what would have to happen. The movie would start, and we would see Ryan Reynolds from Wolverine Origins, and they have his mouth sewn shut, and then that's also the end of the movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Give me like a solid 1 minute of that, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's probably the only way. This movie could honestly have a crappy plot, which it probably won't. It'll have bad chemistry in the actors, which it probably won't, and crappy action, which it probably won't.
Yeah.
Given that Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, they're friends, before this movie probably was even thought of being possible, they've set up from the very first Deadpool, going back to Wolverine Origins, all the interplay between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Deadpool and Wolverine, and you saw, even if you remember, and the trailers have been fantastic when they were building for Deadpool 2, which got preempted by Logan, him even taking like the making fun of the whole X with Logan's grave and all those things. I am so psyched for this one. So in case anyone didn't know, Deadpool 3 comes out right now, because sometimes these dates move.
Yep.
Sometimes it's coming out right now, scheduled for July 26th. My birthday is literally the week before. So I'm gonna go. I'm coming so strong for this, sir. All right. So that's my list. What do you got, my friend?
So here's my honorable mentions. If I'm Imaginary Friends with Ryan Reynolds, Louis Gossett Jr. is in it as well. It's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for this movie. Imaginary is another one. It's going to be a horror movie. It's going to be also very, very weird. ISS, which is going to be like looks really cool. It takes place when you're on a space station with I think it's the Russians in the in the US.
It is.
And they see World War breaking out, on the surface.
Yes.
And they're stuck on a space station,
yes.
With the enemy, so
yes.
I'm like, what, wow.
Yes.
What
do you want to do, Hal? What do you want to do, Dave? Yes, exactly.
Let's see here. Gladiator 2.
Really close. Can you imagine Denzel? I mean, that almost made the list. Then I don't want to put everything on it, but Gladiator 2 has Denzel in it as well. Like, that probably is gonna be really good. It's probably gonna be really good.
The more it settles, I agree with you, man. Because like, I think there's gonna be something there. Furiosa is gonna be. It's also gonna be up there for me as well.
Okay.
Now, let's see. My Thunderbolts, Marvel's Thunderbolts. I think is gonna be.
Thunderbolts. Yes.
I think that's gonna be pretty awesome.
Is that gonna be Harrison Ford's debut as Thunderbolt Ross?
Yes.
Or will he be in something before? I didn't think it'll be.
Well,
I wasn't sure if there was something on Disney Plus he might show up in, but that'll be his big one.
Echo comes out on Friday.
True. No. Tuesday.
Oh, it does?
Comes out the 9th. That's Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Well, I guess we're going to be talking about Echo next week.
I'm sure we'll be talking about Echo.
Yes. So, the top movies I'm looking forward to is Argyle. I'm looking forward to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to Dune 2. I'm One Love and Ghostbusters as well. And the movie I am most looking forward to, Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for mutton chops. What is it?
Deadpool 3, my friend.
Yep.
I mean, literally, I think, but if we are anywhere close to the target audience, and we both are, this movie, in fact, I know we're running low on time, but I just want to check something that's super quick.
Oh, you're good. While you're doing that, I do have Tyler Brooks. He said his favorite movie of 2023 was The Boy and Heron. And then I got a good buddy of mine, Noah O'Toole, who I did Nerd Church Radio with, and his favorite movies was Barbie and Saltburn, which
I've heard Saltburn was fantastic. I have not had a chance to check out Saltburn. I was actually I started it Friday night, but I wasn't feeling well, so I actually fell asleep. And that has nothing to do with Saltburn. I was just like exhausted. So what I'm checking here is to see kind of what's coming out around Deadpool 3. That's usually a sign of what the studios are thinking. So I'm looking at the weeks before Deadpool 3 on July 26th. So we've got Despicable, and remember, this is something. There's going to be other movies, but the movies that people are like, what are we willing to sacrifice, right? So Despicable Me 4 comes out June 3rd. That's a different art. It's going to get younger kids.
That's also, you said Deadpool's July 27th?
26.
26, okay. So end of July.
Despicable Me 4 comes out July 3rd, so get the July 4th crowd. And again, that's for younger kids. It'll work it, so it'll do fine. Then there's a few independent, there's some romantic comedies again that'll be up against it coming before. A movie that I cannot believe they made and I will not be watching is the Twister sequel, Twisters. Why? Why? Just why?
There's no point. It's got me all spun up, man.
Ah, nice. You know what? And it has no one from the original cast. And the other, well, in all honesty, 2 of the 3 primary people from the original cast are no longer with us. So
R.I.P.
Awkward. But they can at least pull Helen Hunt a little bit, you know. She can say, hey, I'm mad about you. All right, you can see that, like that.
I do like that.
Yeah. And then after Deadpool, you've got again nothing that even
for 2 weeks.
August 16th is probably the next thing that could probably take it out, which is going to be Aliens Romulus. And then 2 weeks after Alien Romulus is Kraven the Hunter. So literally, here are the here are the movies that at least they're saying gets at least a mention in the weeks after Deadpool 3. Harold and the Purple Crayon, which again is going to appeal to younger audiences. An M. Night Shyamalan movie called Trap, so that may get a few people. Lionsgate, which is going to be more independent, movie called Borderlands with Cate Blanchett, probably going to be a very good movie.
And that's based on the video games.
Oh, it is. Okay,
yeah, that's based on the video game. So I thought that was an Amazon direct movie as well.
Quite possibly, but looking at, just looking at the movies that are gonna go up again, it'll be movies that are really diametrically different for different, like movies for kids, and I mean like not even teenage kids. And then probably like some rom-com and things. So there's basically, and this is not, any criticism, as studios are supposed to make money. Sometimes you just know a movie is expected to be a juggernaut. And with the millions and millions of dollars that come to making these movies and advertising and marketing and PR and all the things, sometimes you go, we're going to give up like 3 weeks. Like we're going to let you make your money and do the deal, and we will be right there for Deadpool 3. It is going to I have no reason, given the 2 previous films and the people that are involved, to think it will be anything other than really, really good.
Agree.
All right, sir.
And that end of July is kind of one of the sweet spots because it's the end of the blockbuster season.
Yeah.
You also have a full month before you go back to school.
Right.
So that movie is going to print money. I'm going to have people like out, like checking tickets as they go into the theater.
100%.
Because people are going to try to sneak into that movie like no other.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it is also still rated R, which it should be. Because again, there was some concern and given the different things that are now on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is not shied away because, again, you can set the different settings on it, and also just parents watch what your kids are watching. But there was some concern that when Deadpool was going to go back into the MCU, because Deadpool and Deadpool 2 had been rated R and were quite easily rated R. Like, well, is it? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
When Ryan Reynolds first go, hey, this is not your girlfriend's, and that's a horrible way even thinking about it. But basically, hey, this is a different kind of superhero movie. That being said, people are going to sneak in, but there was something with Disney trying to make it PG or PG-13. Nope, they're gonna let them do their thing, and there again, it's going to print money.
Yeah, I still call Ajax Francis. I mean, to this day, every time I go to the store, and I see Ajax, I'm like, that's Francis. I mean, like, it'll be this way forever.
They gave us Colossus with a personality. Like, come on now.
I mean,
that's hard to do. That character in any incarnation is kind of dry because Peter was never given a personality. Piotr, excuse me.
He was given a hot sister.
And a hot girlfriend. I mean, him and Wildcat. I mean, not Wildcat, Shadowcat.
Hmm.
was really done. And Ethan Page did a great job playing Shadowcat. Even though I still didn't quite understand how Shadowcat could walk through walls and send people's minds
Because of
back
comics.
in time to another body, but you'll be confused. And I'm sorry, if you send me back in time, I'm going straight back to the future. I'm finding me a betting manual. And
Yep.
like, you know what? Look. Hey, I'll stop your sister here in a minute, who's also the mother of Nightcrawler, which they never addressed. But
Nope.
anyway, we're getting nerd deep. Continue, my friend. All right,
Man.
sir.
All right. Well, actually, you gotta give a tat, or do you have a honest ad for us?
Let me give you the honest ad because I see we're at an hour 10, so I want to give us an honest ad, and then you can decide how we wrap up from here. All right. So this is my honest ad regarding New Year's. So if you're ready, my friend, here's my honest ad.
Do
For
it.
New Year's, and specifically New Year's resolutions. Midnight strikes. Promises are made. Future decisions we begin to weigh. I'll go to the gym. I'll read more books. I'll even give hot yoga a look. Best of intentions come with detailed plans, but at the end of the day, it's all a scam. We let our friends, family, and selves, those unread books, will remain on the shelves. We will visit the gym, of that there is no doubt, but it's the gym who delivers our favorite takeout. We'll still swear and watch trash TV, but guess what? We should do these things happily. Let's be honest, life is hard, and being an adult can suck. Getting through any year takes a little luck. So eat the burger, even add bacon. I hear dad bods have all the ladies shaking. Treasure your pleasure, no guilt, no shade, not one harsh word. Happy 2024 from your friends at Revenge of the Nerds.
I love it, man. That's so good. Oh man. Let's do a tat real quick, and then we'll
All right.
wrap up.
Okay, so I will let you pick. So here are the three tats. They go, all of them in reference to our friend the Beekeeper movie, and I will let you pick. So these are Beekeeper verses. Okay.
Ooh, yes.
So so you pick which one of these three you want to do. Beekeeper versus John Wick in a runway battle, a la Zoolander.
Okay.
Beekeeper versus Brian Mills, Taken, in a pie eating contest, a la Stand By Me. Or the Beekeeper versus Robin McCall, Denzel's version of The Equalizer, in a spelling bee. Get it?
Good job. And I'm gonna go with the Beekeeper versus Denzel.
All
And
right,
Equalizer 3, just because you and I saw that movie together as well.
Yes.
And it should have made at least my honorable mentions for 2023, because Equalizer 3 was good, and it's streaming right now, and I need to rewatch
it was really good. It was really, really good.
Equalizer 3 is probably we have it. I think we have about a half of an episode all about it.
Yes,
check it out.
He's the smooth as hell. Denzel, no matter what he does, is smooth as hell.
Yeah.
And so, like, hey, if I got someone coming after me, it's Denzel. All right. Yeah. I mean, fair.
All right. Spelling bee. I am gonna say it's gonna be Denzel winning.
Okay.
Because he likes to do those brain teasers. Now, nothing against Jason Statham, but he's not really known for his brains. You know what I mean? I mean, like maybe kicking people's brains in. And if you watch Beekeeper, he does a great job at it. Like, I love what the Beekeeper does. I love, like, as silly and as out there, and how he was reasonable that where he made it.
Yes.
And like with no thinking involved.
Yes.
It was just like, okay, we gotta go here. I mean, like there was a little bit of foreshadowing, and then like I think we probably figured it out right about the same time.
Right.
We're like,
no, we leaned over like,
yeah,
oh, you know where this is going, right?
Right.
But it still didn't take away from the fun. Like I said before, sometimes things are predictable because that's where the story needs to go, and you can still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And Beekeeper's a good example of that. Like, okay, this is where this should end up. And it gave us the ending, but it gave us the ending in a very satisfying way, which is the other part of it. So, I agree with you. But guess what, Bradley? If there's a beekeeper versus Robert McCall spelling bee, if Jason Statham misspells it, I ain't telling him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
although I want to see that fight.
Yeah,
I mean, like
spell cat QRW.
DOG.
Yes, correct.
I mean, can you? You know, I would take the Equalizer, Robert. What's
Yeah,
his last name again? I can't even remember. McCall and the Beekeeper up against any duo in cinema.
Okay, so how about this? Let's go real quick.
Tag team.
Let's go real quick. Over under. So Beekeeper and Robert McCall versus the original cast of The Expendables.
The original cast of The Expendables, dude. Like honestly, I'm gonna go with Robert McCall and the Beekeeper because, dude, they kick people's asses so much better than Dolph Lundgren can. And
Dolph is brilliant. Dolph would probably win the spelling bee.
He would
Dolph
absolutely
would probably win the spelling bee.
I mean, he's smarter than a lot of other people. I mean,
so the only thing
did you know that the lead singer from Offspring has a doctorate in some sort of biology?
Really?
Yes. Yeah, he's a huge science nerd.
Well, also, and again, this proves how awesome the 80s and 90s were. Winnie Cooper is actually Danica McClellan. She actually has her doctorate in math and actually has written a series of kids' books showing them making math fun. But also, she has multiple mathematical theories that she has authored that are published. Like, she is a math prodigy.
That's awesome.
And then if you know the background with Mayim Bialik and the Big Bang Theory, Mayim Bialik actually also is a scientist herself. She actually was helping with the consulting on the Big Bang Theory to make sure they got the science right. And also because she's an actress, so, hey, here's the science, but it's also how you deliver it for your audience. And in that consulting that she did became Amy Farrah Fowler on the show.
Which is wonderful.
Which is just wonderful. So again, just two examples. Again, back in our nerd crush days, but also just two incredibly talented, brilliant women and doing all the things. So so there's a lot of brilliance out there, which again, Dolph Lundgren. So just to make sure I heard you right. So I'm going to take out Lee Christmas because that was Jason Statham's character. So you're giving me Robert McCall and the Beekeeper on one side of it versus Stallone, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture. We forgot about Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Our boy Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Willis and Schwarzenegger, neither of them were really that. I mean, Schwarzenegger was in there as just a cameo, and Willis was Mr. Church. He didn't really do a whole lot. Matter of fact, Mickey Rourke was in it. I agree with you. I'm still probably taking Denzel and Statham in those.
I'm going to give them John Wick on their team too.
If you give them Wick, it's over. If you give them Wick, it's absolutely over. I could say this: you could give those three one bullet versus the entire Expendables, and they'll figure it out.
They will, yeah.
They'll just, that'd be great. So, okay, my friend. All right, buddy. I think we have reached our maximum level of awesomeness. How are we going to send this home, bro?
Yes. Well, where can we find Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for mutton chops?
So first off, just real quick, I want to share, but I think I said this already, but my best human of the week is The Rock, just because it was so great to see him back. But where you can find me is on the Book of Faces. So Brian Stephen Dennis, that's what the S actually stands for. You can find me on Facebook. Give me a like, give me a follow. I try and keep my page always fun and sometimes weird. How about you, my friend?
Well, you can tweet at me at the Fandemic3. Message me on Facebook at the Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at Fandemic1.
He's also active on Twitter. He will not respond, but he does have a Twitter page or X.
Yeah, X. We have to have a chat about Twitter because I have no idea. I don't even know what to do with it. But anyway, if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. You can go to Patreon at Pandy. I can't talk today, so we're just going to skip to the end.
Words are hard.
Words are very hard today. So, Brian,
yes, sir.
What are your words of wisdom?
So my words of wisdom are this week and the same as last week and every week is remember, first off, no retreat, no surrender. And please remember that Goonies never say die.
Friendship is like peeing yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And squirrels' cheeks are their nutsacks. Oh, bye-bye.
Bye bye, folks.